What's up, guys? Welcome to the shop. I got my hardtail on the stand here, and it's been having some shifting problems. Let me demonstrate. So you're pedaling the bike here, and it's in first now. I'm gonna shift it down to second. Works pretty good in second. This is third. It's a little jumpy, as you can see. Watch this piece. The cage seems to jump around a little bit. Oh, there it goes. So we're gonna go down to fourth. Seems fine in fourth. Seems fine in fifth. Oh, there it goes to sixth. I didn't press the lever. Now we're trying to go to seventh, and now we're in seventh. I'm gonna shift up to sixth. So that is a telltale sign that your hanger's bent. If it shifts fine up by the top here, shifting great, shifted fine. And then down here, it starts getting all wonky. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this hanger off, and we're gonna stick it on the vise, and we're gonna try and straighten it out. So the tools you'll be needing is a set of Allen wrenches, a pliers or a vise grip, a hammer or a mallet, and optional is a vise. It's a little bit easier with a vise if you have one. So I got the hanger removed from the bike, and we're gonna stick it on the vise and try and straighten it out. And now the vise is optional. You can use a vise grips. I got the vise, it's more convenient. So I see right here, you can either grab a pair of pliers and try and bend it back, kind of this way. And don't bend these too far, like don't force it all the way, because these are aluminum and they will snap. I like using the hammer. Just give it a little tap. Usually does the trick. So once your hanger's completely straight, you can close one eye and take a look at it. Completely straight on this side. I'm gonna take a look at it. Completely straight on this side. We can unclamp it here. Take it out of the vise. And reinstall it back on the bike. Alright, I got everything back on the bike, and I'm gonna stick the rear wheel back on. Alright, now that I got the rear wheel on, let's test the shifting. Alright, so we're in first gear all the way. We're gonna go to second. So you're pretty good in second. Third. Fourth, fifth. This is where we were having issues, where it was shifting down. Sixth and seventh. And we're gonna go back up again. Didn't want to go in there, so. Seems pretty good to me. Alright, if your chain is still shifting bad, what you can do is adjust these two limit screws right here. So there's a high and a low limit screw. The low limit screw is for your first gear around here, and your low limit screw, or your high limit screw, is for the lower gears down there. So what you're gonna want to do is, when you're pedaling the bike, and let's say you're in second, and then you go to shift into first, and your chain gets wrapped up in the wheel here, your low limit screw is out, is unscrewed too much. That means when you're pulling the downshift lever or twisting the lever on your bike, the shifter, that means the derailleur is moving too far this way and shifting your chain into the wheel. So what you're gonna want to do is tighten this in until your chain line right here to your jockey pulley here, right here, until the chain line is straight. So let's take a look at the chain line on my bike here. And as you can see, it is not completely straight. It's kind of going this way. You can see that. So let me get a better camera angle here. All right, so you guys can watch right here. As I tighten this L screw, the cage should start to move in. I don't know if it's showing up on video there. Is it showing up? The cage should start to move in. And actually, we went a little too far, so we want to unscrew this. And watch the chain line here as I unscrew this. See that cage moving in? So you just want to adjust that. And you want to test it while you're adjusting it. Alright, there we go. Back into first. And you don't want the screw all the way out, because if the screw is all the way out, let's just demonstrate. Just unscrew this a lot here. Alright, now when I pull the lever, you can see how much that moves. It's actually not enough to shift it off here. Let's unscrew it all the way here. Don't ever do this on your bike. I'm just showing it because it's a demonstration. I gotta go a lot more. I'm surprised. Alright. Let's go all the way out here. Gosh, this thing goes far. Alright, that should be a lot. What? What's going on here? Alright, limit screw is fully removed here. Alright, but y'all get the point, right? You guys gotta adjust your limit screw so it doesn't shift off the bike, and I kinda just took mine all the way out. Alright, so yeah. Now we're gonna adjust the limit screw for the lower gears. Alright, so now I'm gonna adjust my low screw here. Right here, this screw right here, we're gonna adjust it, the limit screw for the lower gears down there. So I'm gonna go ahead and shift the bike into 7th. On my bike I have 7 gears, on your bike it might be 6, might be 10, might be 11, so I'm gonna shift it down to the lowest gear on the cassette, or freewheel, depending what you have. And just like the low screw, you want to make sure your cage and your chain line is straight, because you don't want the chain to overshift and shift right into the frame and get stuck between here. As you can see, I'm zoom in here. There's a couple of paint chips because the chain has done that. On my bike, there's no way to really stop it. Just the design of the frame, it's too small of a gap for the chain, and it's always going to be shifting into the frame. I need to get some spacers maybe, or like a washer to stop it, but I stay usually up in the higher gears. I don't really go down there, so, or in the lower gears up here. So let's give this a couple turns. So tightening this screw in, we'll move the cage out. So when you tighten it in, it moves a little bit, but I don't know if you can see it on camera. There it is, moving a little bit. So just close one eye, get real close up into it, and just make sure that limit screw's backed out just enough so you makes your chain line nice and straight. So come on here and take a look at it. Make sure this chain is straight, just how we adjusted it on the lower gears there. And that's about everything for the limit screws. Now, if your whole derailleur is still not shifting right, like let's say you align the hanger, you did your limit screws, and the bike is still, let's say you're in 3rd, and the bike is still just not shifting into 1st. You're pressing the lever all the way in, and you're in 1st gear, but it's in 2nd gear. What you can try and do here is what has happened probably on yours is when you pull the cable here with the shifter, when you're shifting the gears, this cable gets pulled here. Here, I'll shift down here and show you guys how the derailleur works. Is when you're shifting, this lever here pulls the derailleur and pulls this cable down. This cable right here into the housing. And so what could happen sometimes is the bolt that holds this cable in tight could loosen up, and then when you go to shift, it pulls this cable up, and then it won't allow the derailleur hanger move. So what you can do is grab your 5 mil Allen key. Pretty sure that's a 5. Some derailleurs are different, so come up here, grab your 5 mil. Actually, go ahead and actually shift the bike all the way to 7th or your highest gear. Grab the Allen wrench, loosen it so you can move the cable. And here I'll show you. I'm gonna shift up here. See how the cable gets pulled in. So shift all the way down to 7th. Let the gear cable all the way out. And if you want, you can grab a pair of pliers. And what you want to do, don't hold on to the end crimp, the cable crimp here. Hold on to the cable and pull it all the way out of the shifter housing. Press the lever all the way down. Make sure it's all the way out. All right. Now when you have it all the way out, I took the cable all the way in there. Oh, the crimp just came off. That's nice. So push the cable in there. Make sure it's secure. Before you tighten it, give it another pull from the pliers. Make sure the cable is all the way down there. And before you do this, set your limits, because the derailleur is going to get pulled back, and then you might have too much cable, and your limits might not be able to adjust for it. So make sure you adjust your limit screw before you retighten the cable here. So tighten this up. Doesn't need to be too hard. All right, and check your shifting once more, and there it goes. Works fine. Now, if you do this and it still doesn't work, what you can try here is some derailleurs have a barrel adjuster here that you can unscrew to tighten up the tension to pull the derailleur this way. If it's shifting, you just take a look at it, and if you're in first gear and the derailleur's too much in this direction, you just tighten up the barrel here. The chain line isn't straight, tighten up the barrel. If it's still going too much this way, you can take this apart and screw this all the way in so you have more cable. What you can also try is screwing it in if it's going too far. There's also sometimes some derailleurs have a barrel adjuster on the shifter to tension up the shifting. And that's pretty much it. So hope you guys learn how to adjust your derailleurs a little bit, and go out there and fix your hangers. See you guys in the next one.